So in today's tutorial, we are going to cover a few more places in the talus. Now, last tutorial, I gave you a whole list of Italian terms. Did you manage to remember them? And did you spot one that may have been missing from that list? If not, just have a look in your music now. Did you find it? 5 before you. Pesante. Do you know what pesante means? Do you remember in the last video I spoke to you about the octave and crescendoing, so saving bow and making that crescendo towards the heel. And we spoke a lot about bow distribution. Well, in today's tutorial, I'm going to talk about the crescendo to the point, and we're going to focus on that place 1 bar before D. And this crescendo to the point is also going to help you in creating these long, beautiful, sustained lines that we need in the talus. Violins up. Making sure everything is nice and free. Can you just turn it up? We're going to place the bow on the string and placing the bow on the A string. And I want you to take off this first finger, the index finger. And if you're finding that your pinky is collapsing or becoming locked, then maybe do it a little bit higher up the bow. And we're just going to bow to the middle and we're going to stop. And then we're going to put the first finger on and we're going to crescendo right to the tip. And the way we're going to crescendo is we're going to lean into the string, like we did if you've had a look at my video on chords, or if you've been practicing that martelé stroke, you'll be able to apply it when we do the crescendo to the point. So let's just start at the heel, take the first finger off and bow to the middle. Stop. Put the index finger on and we're going to now crescendo towards the point. We're going to go back to the heel and we're going to, we're going to stop in the middle and we're going to take off the index finger. So index fingers on, still leaning into the string. We're going to draw the bow to the middle, index finger off and to the heel. Let's do that again. Heel to the middle without the index finger on. And stop. Now index on. I'm going to lean into the string as we go towards the point. And then back. Index still on, leaning into the string and back to the middle. And then index off and to the heel of the bow. This time I want you to think about one more thing. I want you to think about moving the bow slightly towards the bridge as we do that crescendo. So remember, if we move the bow closer to the bridge, we need a slightly slower bow speed and to just lean a little bit more into the string. So let's see if we can remember that. So index finger off from heel to middle. And you're going to stop in the middle. We're gradually going to then crescendo and move ever so slightly the bow towards the bridge. Remember, no scratchy sounds. You want the sound to be beautiful. So heel to middle. And stop. Lean into the string. Rest the arm on the string. And no scrunching sounds, but just let gradually crescendo. And back the way. Stop in the middle, take index off and to the heel. And did you feel when you approach the heel without the index finger, do you feel the weight of the bow travel through the hand? Let's try once more, and this time we're not going to stop the bow, so we're going to see if we can remember to put that index finger on the middle and continue to the point. So ready, and index on and towards the bridge and back the way, index off and move it away from the bridge. And the third thing I want you to think about this time. So when we're at the heel of the bow, this is the heaviest part. So if we want to balance the sound, and in fact at 1 before D we want to make a crescendo, then we need to make sure that we hold the weight at the heel, so we don't start with a scratchy sound. We hold the weight and we balance the bow, and that we slightly tilt the bow so that we use a little bit more of the side of the hair. And then as we go up, we gradually turn the bow hair to slightly flatter here. So let's see if we can do that. Can you just put your bow on the string? And we're just going to see if we can roll the bow. Can you roll the bow from side to side? So can you roll it just with your fingers? Okay. Okay, let's try to put that together. So, no index finger. We're going to stop in the middle for this one. We're going to remember to move slightly towards the bridge, always listening for a beautiful sound, no scrunches, and see if we can turn the bow hair to slightly flatter. So let's try that. Stop. Put the index finger on. We're gradually going to crescendo, be guided by the ear. Lean into the string, flatter here and at the bridge. And back. And move away from the bridge, tilt the hair and to the heel. That's a great exercise to help you create an even sustained tone. Let's look at it in the talus now. And if we can take 1 bar before letter D, and we're also going to look at 3 bars before letter E. So we're going to sustain the sound, index finger off, then on, crescendo, and we're going to do a slightly faster up bow. And then we're going to do it again, slow, on, and then slightly faster up bow. So if we just take the D, so heel to middle, and you're going to stop in the middle and put then the index finger on, lean into the string, and then we're going to do a slightly faster up bow right to the heel. Okay, you've got to go right to the heel of those bows. Ready? Heel and stop the bow in the middle. Crescendo to the point, and now faster bow gesture, and again, heel to middle, stop, crescendo, and now, and one more thing before we try the whole passage. So we just touched there on this slow down bow and slightly faster up bow. Now we have quite a few of those, and what we often see is the crotchet followed by the quaver up bow. Tom, tom, pom, dum, and it's a sort of almost yearning, yeah. So let's just try it on any note. We can just try an open A, so we're going to do a slow bow, and then we're going to do a slightly faster bow, well, much faster. Can you just do it in the air? So down bow, then up bow, tom, 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 dum, tom. And now we're going to try it on an open A string. So tum, dum, 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 dum. And you feel that whole arm sort of moves for that. Tum. And if we just take the bowing at letter D, just on the open string, so if we do ta da da tum, da ta da da ta, right to the tip now, ta yum bum bum, crescendo dum. We're now going to apply it all. So just to recap, crescendo through to the tips of the bow so that you're able to sustain that line and just let it swing into letter D. We're going to be doing a slower bow on the down bow, slightly faster gesture on the up bow, and really make those lines sing. So let's take from 3, B4, D. So violins up, make sure everything's soft, left hand soft. That octave, if you're not comfortable doing the octave, just do the upper note or lower note. Place bows at the tips, everybody bow at the tip. Have a look. And 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thinking again just about bow distribution, if we look to 4 before X, so we have the tremolos, and just coming out of the tremolo going into natural, so that means that we're no longer sulla touche, we're coming into forte sostenuto. When we do that crescendo, we want to make sure that we get to the right part of the bow so that we're not stuck at the tip for that, because that will be uncomfortable. So if we can just take that, we're just going to do open strings, and we're just going to gradually in the crescendo move our way down to the middle so that we've got in the right part of the bow to do this sostenuto. So this is 4 before X. Sur la touche and let's try that again. So we start sur la touche. 1, 2, 3. And let's put that with the left hand. And try again. The last place I want to cover is letter Z and the bar before Z. Again, just talking about bow distribution, but we're also going to be talking a little bit about the left hand. If you're comfortable doing the double stops, then do them. Just a wee tip on the double stops. We is a Scottishism. Little tip on the double stops. When you're doing the fifth, you want to make sure that the first finger is down on both strings, so that the second finger can just slide over. So I'm talking about letter Z itself, or letter Z. So that first finger is down on both strings. You've just had the F sharp, that quaver before that. First finger's down on both strings. You've got the B and the G. And so you're able to then do... See that? So if you keep the second finger really light and the first finger a little bit more weight, you can slide over. And that's actually a great way to practice 6. So being able to just sort of slide over. And then this one as well slides. And actually for that one you can even use a little bit of your elbow for both motions. Yeah? So that's with the double stops. Now here we need again this forte sostenuto sound. And we need to make sure that we have enough bow for the last chord. So I would suggest that you use full bows for letter Z. So it's going to be... So let's just do open strings so we feel that da, 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 da. Did you use your whole bows? Let's try again. Da, 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 da. Now did I hear a diminuendo as you went to the point? Do you remember what we were talking about, sustaining through the lines? Really feel the depth of the sound as you approach the point. One last time. So there you really need to crescendo to the point. Okay, let's just do that section. So bar before Z, bows on the string, feeling the weight, hear the sound before you play, know where the phrase is going, and quick recap, we've again discussed bow distribution. So remember, tops of the crescendos, we need enough bow for them. So remember to save, if you're on the up bow, save the bow at the start and then leave enough for the top of the crescendo. We also explored an exercise that's going to help you develop the ability to sustain the notes right through to the tip, which is the weakest part of the bow. And this can be applied on open strings and then in scales and then in your pieces. We applied it in the talus for the crescendo bar, 1 bar before letter D. We discussed bow speed and we spoke about slow bows and then faster gestures for the up bows. We then went on to the tremolo section and we spoke about being in the right part of the bow for coming out of the tremolo into that beautiful sostenuto melody. And then finally at letter Z, I gave you some tips on how you can work on those double stops there and prepare for that chord. So I hope this has been useful. Remember to share with us your practice clips. We're always keen to see how you're doing, and I look forward to seeing you soon.